Hello, my name is Drew Doling, and I'll be talking about viruses and its evolution. Let's talk about some background in history. There have been many outbreaks in history, like the bubonic plague, which killed thousands of people. One of the most serious causes was smallpox. Smallpox has been one of the worst plagues in history. It was worldwide, and it killed many people in wars and everyday contact. When a person got exposed to it, they'll die in less than a week. The symptoms came up in like a couple of days, and they will get it and they will die. Um, there was a man, but let's talk about a person. A person was named Edward Jenner. During his time, there was a disease called cowpox, which is similar to smallpox, as you see in the bottom right. This is smallpox. Blisters, pus comes out, and when it gets airborne, people get infected by it. So what he did is that he took pus from cowpox and injected it into a child that's not affected to any type of disease. After a couple of days, he saw the child got the smallpox symptoms, and then he brought the child to a person that had smallpox, so he could be exposed to it. After a week, he didn't get symptoms, and the cowpox cleared up, and he was fine. And from that then on, he was the first person in history to have discovered vaccine for smallpox or any kind of virus. Virus mutates from person to person, usually, and also animal to person or animal to animal. There are many different types of viruses. These are a couple on the bottom. There's influenza on the right, and just regular virus on the left. What it contains is a protein coat, which inside of it has a genome, which could be either DNA, RNA, double-stranded, single-stranded. They mutate very rapidly, and the things around the influenza virus, the spikes, they get interchanged every time it goes through a membrane of a cell. Let's talk about DNA viruses. DNA viruses have a genetic code, double-stranded usually. Typically have an accurate replication or results in slow mutation rates, but they're more stable compared to RNA viruses. Some examples include herpes, heptenovirus, and hepatitis B. Another form of virus is the RNA virus. Same as DNA, inside is RNA instead of DNA, but it contains a single or double-stranded. Usually are more unstable, and they do not contain proteins, which leads to less accurate translation or replication. Examples are influenza virus, Zika, West Nile fever. The cause of mutations, there are many causes, but there's two big ones, antigenic shift and antigenic drift. So the antigenic drift is small compared to the antigenic shift, as you can tell from the picture. One of the biggest things is that the shift is small and it's gradual, and it causes the virus to not to be inhibited by the previous virus strains. And the next one is antigenic shift, which is from the pictures, like there's 3 different viruses, and they all come into a host cell, and they erupt from the cell, and they go attack other cells. They have a totally different new coding on their genome, so that they cannot be detected, or they have the host machinery inside of them, and they'll mutate even faster. Let's talk about 3 different viruses that do this. One of the viruses is called the hantavirus. The hantavirus are found on rodents. The virus is transmitted to person, but before that, the virus goes from a mouse to a person, usually through rat urine, saliva, and other body fluids. So it mutates within the rodent, and because it mutates a lot in the rodent, it goes when we step on, say, fecal matter, or we get bit by a rodent, the virus will go into us, and it'd be a totally different strain, but it will still be called the hantavirus, but there are different strains of it. We cannot determine how to vaccinate that properly, because that's the reason why it has been no vaccination so far. HIV, same thing as the hantavirus, there's no vaccine. Probably the most deadliest virus there is in the world right now. Its contact contracted by sexual contact, injections, containing blood transfusions, and pregnancy of mother-to-child. The virus has extremely high mutation rate. It can mutate its entire genome through person to person. These makes it difficult to vaccinate that certain individual with that kind of strain because there's many, many strains, and you can't pinpoint every strain within the vaccine so far. And it attacks the nervous system, which causes the T cells to not work properly either, which leads to AIDS. And lastly, influenza. It's one of the most common viruses around the world today. Many, many vaccines of it. There's H1N1, H5N1, N1, H4, many, many types of strains. Reason why they call it H1 or N1 is because the spikes within the virus. On the bottom left, there's a hemagglutinin and the neuraminidase, which means that there's different types of hemagglutinin detachment protein on the virus and different type of neuraminidase on the virus. So this is one of the examples of antigenic drift, which causes a new vaccine every year. Spreads super fast, just like smallpox, and scientists watch the virus mutate in novel strains where it typically occur once every 2 to 5 years. Lastly, their vaccines are super important to our society. We are pretty much cured of entirely of polio, measles, mumps, rubella, and those other viruses that were super deadly to us. But there has been a recent decline in vaccinations due to publicity rumors. So because of that, if people don't get vaccinated, then the virus will spread person to person and it would mutate, and will evolve the virus to become more of a threat. So which means is that we can't eradicate completely a virus, and there will be more outbreaks within the world today. As you can see in the bottom on the right picture of the map, there are many different cases that should have been completely eradicated, but they're not. For instance, so measles, there's a vaccine that completely removed everything until the 1990s when the first measles outbreak occurred, and in the last 3 years, there's been 55,622 cases of measles reported, and 90% of those were not vaccinated. So as you can tell, there's been more popping up of the old viruses, and there's more popping up of new viruses like influenza, different strains, and things like that. All right, and thank you for listening. This is my presentation, and have a good day.